In the shadow of Pearl Harbor, a city thrummed with fear, duty, and duty's fog. I lived through the night the sky spoke in shells, watched searchlights carve the fog, and wondered what haunted us above, until dawn revealed only questions. Tonight, we walk that night's steps together, from warning to unanswered truth. In the days after Pearl Harbor, Los Angeles lived under a tightened wartime clock. Factories redoubled output, shipyards roared, and blackouts stitched night to day. Executive Order 9066 would soon catalyze internment of Japanese Americans, intensifying fear, suspicion, and a city-wide readiness to defend itself at all costs. Rumors circulated in the hours before the barrage. Flickers of lights in the night sky, eerie echoes along the coast, and radar chatter that spiked yet remained unconfirmed. The city braced, neighbors debated what lay beyond the clouds, and the blackout became our new normal while we listened for a telltale sound. Around 2:15 to 2:25 a.m., sirens cried out, echoing through alleys and apartments. The night pressed in as anti-aircraft batteries awakened, shells rumbled toward the sky, and searchlights stitched the clouds. I stood in a doorway, breath held, hearing the distant tremor of metal, fear, and stubborn resolve. Windows shuttered, families gathered in hallways, and civilians moved to basements as the lights danced overhead. Police, dismissing gossip, ordered calm while civil defense volunteers and neighbors helped those in need. The city became a single nerve, pulsing with uncertainty and a stubborn wish to endure. For hours the barrage answered the night. Bright tracers, the boom of shells, and the steady hiss of searchlights. We fired at unidentified objects. Still, nothing tangible fell from the heavens. By morning, rumors of flying saucers circled the city, and the truth settled into legend. Our coastal defenses stretched along the harbor and hills. Coastal batteries, lookout points, and patrols stitched the landscape together. From Long Beach to the Santa Monica foothills, soldiers and civilians watched the skies with a shared, anxious vigilance. Searchlights carved bright ribbons through low clouds, turning every cloud into a potential ship or wing. In the glare, silhouettes morphed into threats and then into nothing at all. The eye plays tricks in panic, and on this night, the sky betrayed us with light and rumor. City leaders urged calm even as the streets remained tense. Police coordinated with volunteers, radio operators, and civil defense units to keep neighborhoods orderly. The fright was real, but so was the resolve to protect families and the vital war factories downtown. The military communicated cautiously, speaking of unidentified objects rather than confirmed enemy forces while urging restraint. Officials insisted the situation was under control, though they offered no definitive explanation for the mysterious targets we seemed to shoot at all night. The barrage stretched for about 3 hours, ending as dawn lightened the horizon. The shells stopped, the searchlights dimmed, and a city still held its breath. We waited for planes that never came, listening to the harbor bells ring with relieved yet unsettled quiet. Witnesses described lights that moved strangely and shapes that suggested more than artillery. Some claimed a slow, hovering craft. Others spoke of fast, zigzagging glints. Whether truth or fever, these accounts fed the sense that something watched us from above. As the sun rose, there were no wreckage, no downed planes, and no signs of a craft we could prove. The city slowly peeled from its fear, leaving behind a question mark that would outlive the morning and linger for generations. In the days that followed, officials offered no definitive enemy proof and acknowledged only unidentified aerial phenomena. Over time, the strongest consensus suggested misinterpretation, weather effects, and the era's intense fear as major contributing factors to the landmark misfire of alarm. Cloud cover, smoke, and bright city lights below the overcast sky bent our perception. Flares and reflections returned from glass overhead, turning ordinary air into a theater for imagined invaders and testing the limits of fact against fear. The night magnified the tensions already simmering among Japanese-American residents. Fear of being singled out intensified, even as many worked to protect families and neighborhoods. The event foreshadowed the broader, harsher policy decisions that would come with executive orders and wartime surveillance. Newspapers struggled to capture the night with precision. Headlines swung between warning and assurance as editors weighed official statements against eyewitness voices. The press, like the city, wrestled with fear and the urge to report fast, even when the truth lagged behind. The Battle of Los Angeles left a clear imprint. It sharpened coastal vigilance and prompted reviews of searchlights, radar use, and public alert systems. It also hardened the mood of civil defense, teaching cities to balance warning with measured restraint. The night became a touchstone in American memory, a cautionary tale about wartime fear and the allure of the unknown. It seeded later discussion about UFO sightings and the fragility of certainty when the sky itself seems to speak in explosions. Declassified notes and later histories painted a nuanced picture: misidentified aircraft, weather balloons, and ritualized alarms. Yet the exact cause remains debated, a puzzle in the records that invites continual reinterpretation and responsible remembrance. Far from an isolated episode, the night reflected a nation readjusting to total war, shortages, rationing, and a pervasive urge to prove resilience. The city learned to live with uncertainty while carrying on with essential work and daily life. Some suffered minor injuries from shell fragments and broken glass. Property bore the scars of the night, yet the true human cost was measured more in fear endured than physical harm counted. The memory fixated on what might have been, not what happened to each person. That night fed an appetite for unknowns, blending wartime paranoia with a growing cultural interest in strange phenomena. The idea of unseen watchers in the heavens found fertile ground among storytellers, journalists, and later researchers. Nearby communities faced similar drills and alerts as part of a national pattern: readiness, caution, and the attempt to keep daily life functioning under threat. The Battle of Los Angeles became a regional example of a broader wartime discipline. As radar technology matured, the LA night underscored its growing role and its gaps. Operators learned from imperfect detections and noisy signals, fueling later improvements in detection, tracking, and coordinated air defense. These nights reminded us that fear could be tempered by neighborly acts. Doors opened for warmth, streets kept safe by shared vigilance, and stories passed along to reassure children who slept with the tremor of distant explosions in their ears. Today, the Battle of Los Angeles is a defined moment in Los Angeles history, a reminder of fear, resilience, and the fragility of certainty when the night sky becomes a battlefield of possibilities. Writers, painters, and filmmakers kept the memory alive, translating fear into art and inquiry. Their works ask not just what happened, but why it captured a nation's imagination and how we learn to talk about the unknown. The night reinforced a Pacific-focused posture, stronger coastal defenses, more vigilant air-sea coordination, and an understanding that the war's theater included every harbor and hillside of the mainland. Did we see enemy craft, weather balloons, or our own fear reflected back by light and sound? The records leave room for interpretation, and the truth remains layered in testimonies, official notes, and the limits of memory. The night reshaped attitudes toward defense, risk, and the unknown. It entered public consciousness as a cautionary tale about perception under pressure, while also feeding a lasting curiosity about what lies beyond our sight, a question echoing through decades of science, journalism, and culture. A closing reflection. The Battle of Los Angeles was a singular wartime moment when fear and duty collided in the night sky, leaving questions that still invite careful examination.